So I'm going to talk a little bit more about Kerberos. I dabbled in the overview, the basic high-level protocol before. There are a couple of other nice features about Kerberos. One is there's a technology called GSS API, which is a SSL mechanism, whose purpose it is to to establish and encrypt communications. For example, between a user, an SSSD client, and an LDAP server. We can use Kerberos tickets to perform that bind instead of using an LDAP password. And how that works is essentially the same as a service ticket. The LDAP server it provides a service. We authenticate with the Kerberos server to get that principal. We present that across the GSS API protocol to the LDAP server and say, do a Kerberos verification on this. We say we are who we are. Now we've established this SSL mechanism, and we can use this ticket that we've established between ourselves and wrap this communication in a GSS API encrypted tunnel. So now everything that we say to the LDAP server and they say back is now encrypted. This can be useful if your LDAP server may or may not contain sensitive data, and it's quite a bit more secure than just simple unencrypted traffic, of course. But it's also it's really nice for simplicity's sake, because you don't have to authenticate every single time. You've got this single sign-on feature that just happens more or less magically under the hood with GSS API. So that's a really nice feature. Some other examples of services where you might use you might want to use Kerberos for establishing such connections. NFS version 4 supports Kerberized identities. So you can establish, you can set up network mounts with your corporate server, and when you sign in with SSSD and you get your Kerberos credentials, now you can use those to automatically mount your network mounts and work with those. Maybe it's a home directory, maybe it's extra data access to virtual images, things like that. But you didn't have to take any additional steps, and you didn't have to configure your local system to use to manually map your NFS user to your local user, or make sure that every machine in your network has exactly the same UID mappings. You just tell it, I am this Kerberos principal, and NFS will make sure that it has the right set of permissions on the other end of the communication.